Ryan Jarrell here for MMA News, and I'm very excited to have the Moroccan Devil, Youssef Zalal, back on the program, who picked up a round two RNC victory over Billy Q this past weekend at UFC Vegas 89, and his return to action to the UFC octagon. Youssef, how you doing?
I'm good, my man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. And you're the first guy to submit Billy Q. That's a nice feather in your cap. What does that feel like?
I know, my man. I didn't even know until I kind of found out, and I was like, "Oh, holy smokes! I didn't even know that." But it shows that, like, I'm like a, how you say it, like well-rounded fighter, not just a striker, not just this, not just that. So I'm very happy, and I got my black belt not too long ago too. So I was like 2 months ago. So it made it a lot more worth it, to be honest.
For sure. Makes it even sweeter. What were the challenges here getting ready for Billy Q on a short notice fight like this?
The challenges was me flying out from Vegas for the Ultimate Fighter and then coming back. And then I had 1 week of training and then fight week. So that was the challenges on that part. But me staying ready and always like being in on around the weight, like 45, especially 45 around that time. So it wasn't too bad on that part, but the traveling to kind of mess it up a little bit. But I was always ready for that opportunity. I couldn't wait.
Yeah, and you definitely went in there and did your thing. And, all your teammates, I've been talking to a lot of the guys at Factory X. They've all been ranting and raving and just about how good you are. And it's just a matter of time before you get back into the UFC. Did you feel like extra pressure? Did you feel more nerves to just really not go in there and just perform, but to really kind of show out?
Before I used to have that pressure, like to perform and not like make everybody be like, oh wow, and this and that, and that was like too much pressure on me. And you guys can tell too, like the old Yusuf and new me now. It's like you can see the difference. Is like more just confidence and clear. There's a clear mind. I'm not thinking about so much about everybody else what they think. If I know what I'm capable of and I go do what I need to do, I know I'll perform. And like you said, my teammates, I train with those guys all the time and every day, and to get them ready for their fights and they know the levels I bring. So it's just motivation, to be honest, because I know what they're capable of. And when I go watch him do their thing, and I'm like, wow, like I train with that guy every day, and to get bonuses and to get finishes like that and perform like that, it just motivates me and just adds more fuel to the fire, to be honest.
You were very elusive in there. Billy had a tough time finding you. You were landing some good calf kicks. Did you and the team, did you have a specific game plan going in for what Billy brings to the table?
We know he's a slow starter in the first round, so we knew he's gonna bring the fight, like the dog fight in the second, third. So I was trying to keep him out of his game the whole time in the first round. That was my whole plan, right? And obviously finding my knees as well, obviously with Barbosa and all that stuff. But I knew he was like dipping his head a lot down, and stuff like that. But it was definitely like to use my speed as my advantage for sure. So I was kind of going there and just really pick him apart on the feet and then get everything going and then potentially go to the ground.
You did land a big knee in that first round, and you had some follow-up shots, and you looked great in that round one. Did you think you were close to a finish at all? Did you feel like you could get him out of there in the first?
So when I got that rear naked choke in the first round, I thought it was like I felt it. It was like I felt him breathing a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is tight because I was like kind of like cranking on the neck. So I was like, oh man, I think this tight, but my angle was off. That's why in the second round, like I set it up in the second round. But the first round, I was way off. So I was kind of like more of a muscle than an actual choke. But it was close.
What was the corner advice going into round two? What did you guys tell you?
They told me the same thing. Like you're seeing everything. You can see everything. Like keep picking them apart, and then I want you to throw a little bit more elbows, a little bit more like find my knees a little bit more and stuff like that. But obviously the fight went to the ground, so it was smoother from there.
And you ultimately got the submission victory. No performance of the night bonus, though. I thought that maybe you'd get that. How
I know,
disappointing
man.
was
I was
that?
like, what? I was like, that's the first guy to ever finish submit this guy, and he's like, I don't even know what is he like number 19, number 20. I don't even know what he is. And I was like, man, come on, man. But I got him next time, though. I got him next time.
Okay, I thought that was messed up, man. I thought you deserved
I
the performance of
appreciate
the
it, man. I
bonus.
know that was a little messed up.
Tell me, what was the celebratory meal like afterwards? What did you guys do to celebrate the big victory?
Oh man, I got some big old pizza and then some I think they got me Pepsi instead of Coca-Cola, but that was that.
Pepsi. Okay. I like Pepsi, but Coca-Cola is your thing. That would be your go-to.
Yeah, I like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is better, I think.
Are you like a Dr. Pepper guy? I know Adrian Yanez loves his Dr.
No,
Pepper.
no,
No.
no, no. Because I don't drink. I drink Zevias the whole camp and outside the camp and everything. I just drink Zevias. I never drink the Coca-Cola or sodas like that. Like the only thing I drink if I go to restaurants is lemonade, like strawberry lemonade or just lemonade, right? But after the fight, I gotta get Coca-Cola because that's the one time I get to have it, and I was like,
Yeah.
let me have that.
Okay. I like it. I'm a Canada Dry guy. I like ginger ale. If I'm gonna have soda,
Ooh,
that's a
ginger
good one.
ale, yeah, I love ginger ale. Oh my God,
It's a
you got
good
me
one.
thinking. I might get ginger ale today.
Well, you know what? You deserve it, especially after this return victory to the UFC octagon. When you get a short notice fight like this, I know you're in camp year round. You're always training, right? But like, what is that balance like as far as the sparring goes, and how often you're doing it when you don't have a fight lined up?
So it's actually I was lucky enough because I got called for the Ultimate Fighter. So I was training for the Ultimate Fighter. So the Ultimate Fighter was completely different, right? I was training with different styles. I was training with different teammates because we don't know who we're gonna fight, right? So I was kind of training. Okay, there's a wrestler, there's a jiu-jitsu guy, there's a striking guy, there's this. So I was like getting my body used to everything, the guys that come forward, the guys that circle, the guys that kickers, especially from Factory X. There's a lot of kickers. So for me, it was like I was well prepared on that part, like style matchups and all that stuff. So, and then the second thing was the strength conditioning was a little different too. They got me working a little bit more strength because they didn't know how the lifting was gonna be in the Ultimate Fighter and all that stuff. So my body was well prepared for short notice on well, I think it was like 2 weeks notice. So it was definitely ready, more than ready, more prepared to go fight.
When you're cutting weight, are you big in the sauna? Is that how you cut most of your weight?
Yeah, man, I tried to do the hot tub on the PI. I lost way more in the sauna than the hot tub.
Yeah, man, sauna. I get to like 20 minutes in there and I start feel like I'm talking to God or something. I'm like I need to step out and take a break. It can get hot. Some of these saunas get north of 200 degrees. I don't know how you guys do it and stay in there for so long.
Oh yeah, they definitely got us on. It was like Thursday night when we started cutting weight. It wasn't as bad, but man, we came in on Friday morning. Oh my God, that's 7 a.m. We're getting cooked up.
Mm.
At 7 a.m. It was hot.
It's a necessity with the job, right? So you got to be in there and kind of get used to it. I'm sure you heard about the bite of the night, right?
Yeah, I
Severino
saw that.
bites Leva. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, the UFC immediately cut Severino afterwards. It's kind of crazy. I haven't seen anything like this since you got to go all the way back to Mike Tyson, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, come on, bro. You're a professional. You should not be able to bite. I don't care if you're losing. I thought he was winning the second round. To be honest, I don't even know what was going on. I may be wrong, but when I thought he was winning the second round. But I'm like, really, like you, like it was a big bite. It was
Yeah.
not even just like a bite. Like that was a big bite. So to do that, I'm like, I won't be surprised. I'm like, we're in a professional sport. Like I understand if it was like if you're gonna cheat in a way to like, okay, maybe it's a low blow or an
Mhm.
eye poke or a cage grab or something like that. But you're gonna bite, like, no, that's not. That's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you should not cheat in general, but
Right.
damn.
Fighting is inexcusable, right? The UFC clearly they had no choice but to cut him. What I thought was really interesting is Lima goes out and he actually gets it tattooed on him. If you
Yeah,
were
he
bitten,
did.
is that something you do? Would you get a tattoo if you were ever bitten in the octagon?
I mean, I don't have any tattoos, but I'll definitely get a tattoo for sure. I'll be like, yeah, I'm like, I mean, it changed his life. Think about it. He got the
Yeah.
show, the win, and a bonus. So it's like you walk out of there with 70 grand. And you're like, you're happy with that. I'm like, yeah, I'll get that tattooed.
I think Dana paid for it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm saying. It even
Right.
got better for that kid.
Yeah, life is good. Your current UFC contract, what was the deal that you signed when the UFC came to you and brought you in for the short notice fight?
I think it was a 4 or 5 deal.
How exciting was that, man? When you first got the call, I mean, you knew it was inevitable, right? Like you look so good since you've left the UFC on a three-fight winning streak as far as MMA goes. You also won, the King of the Cage there, so you had some other victories in other aspects of combat sports. But did it feel almost like a relief? Like, okay, finally, I'm back now. I can kind of really get after it even more so and accomplish the goals that you really had for yourself.
100%. It's definitely a big relief. It's like we almost get like, ah, man, like how long I got to keep working hard and stuff like that. But it's like like I said before, I had a hard time being patient. I'm like I'm not a very patient guy sometimes, but I really had to learn that for the past 2 years that I've been out of the UFC, to be honest. So it kind of helped me not just in fighting, in life as well, too, to being patient in life and being patient in the gym and being patient in my career and understanding. Like you said, like I know when the opportunity comes, I gotta go show out and perform. Because if I don't, it's like, what's the point? It's like you can't be the same old Youssef that you were in the first one. You'd be like, why is he shooting for takedown? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? But now I'm like I said, I'm doing this for myself and like trying to impress myself and really trying to change my life. That's the biggest thing. And I know to do that, I have to do a lot of things that a lot of people are not willing to do.
What area of your game do you think is the most improved now that you're back in the UFC versus your first stint?
I would say the wrestling, and then the confidence. Like I always been a good striker. I feel like I always had the striking behind me, but the confidence has really just elevated the striking a lot more and a lot more crispier, to be honest, and to like get it all going. And I've been training for the last year and a half. I've been training with Isaac Dalgorian.
Hmm.
Man, you talk about you better learn how to stop a takedown and you better learn how to get up because when that guy gets a chance to hold you down, it's a hard time getting up. So I'm blessed about that. Like I said, like that's the part that it's really been working super hard on.
Have you talked to Isaac after his most recent fight?
Oh, of course, he called me right
Yeah.
after his fight.
Yeah. What is his takeaway? Because obviously that's the first time he has gone the distance, and he clearly got gassed out. I feel like he should have won the fight. Like I don't understand the judge's decision on that. I think that was kind of crazy. But like, what was his takeaway? What was the team's takeaway?
Yeah, like you said, the team takeaway was we should have won that fight, right? Like we should definitely took in that decision, but he knows it. He knows how hard it is, this sport, how hard it is, and everything. So my thing with him, I told him, man, I was like, this is a great news to you. This is all experience. You got to spend 3 rounds for the first time in your career. You're only 6-1 right now. I was like, you only got 7 fights as a pro. It's and that guy, man, he's gonna be problem. Like give him a year or two, yeah, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, man. Like just to get the experience and then the level that he trains with and all that stuff. I feel like he's gonna be skyrocketing to the top. So I'm very excited for him to come back and really mature just in fighting and the experience that he took from the fight and everything, and then go forward from there.
Jonathan Martinez, he's got a big fight around the corner. My goodness, Jose Aldo coming out of
Oh my
retirement.
God.
Analyze that for me.
Man, so when he found out, I was I was just literally just got out of the shower, and when it comes to the locker room, and I see a big smirk in his face, and I was like, "What's going on?" He said, "I just got to fight." He was like, "Guess who?" I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Just guess." He's a big name, and I was like, I thought he's gonna say what's his name, like Marab or something like that. And I was like, he was like, no, no, no. I was like, it's in Brazil. So as soon as I said Brazil, I was like, oh, I thought he was Brazilian for sure. And then he said Jose Aldo, and I just jumped on him. I was like, holy shit, let's go. But like you said, man, it's a great fight. It's like technically it's a kicker versus a kicker, and striker versus a striker. I think that's a great fight between those two. I think, oh man, I'm excited. I'm trying to go to Brazil, so I can't wait to see that one. I really can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's one I have circled. Can't wait to watch that. I saw another one of your teammates, Dustin Jacoby, posted something on Twitter or X or whatever the heck it's called. I wanted to ask you about it and just get your thoughts on it. When you hear, someone that you respect, that you're close to, say that you could potentially be a future champion one day in the biggest promotion in the world, what are the feelings that you get when you hear that kind of stuff?
Uh Dustin, I look up to Dustin a lot. He's a very respectful man, and he's a great man. And all that stuff. So he actually before when I was got cut, and he was big on like, listen, my man, I don't think you know how good you are. And like, you have the potential to be a world champion. And I know you'll be a world champion. And he walks around and tell to everybody, like, keep an eye on this kid. He will be a world champion. And if you go fight with the confidence that I know you have and all that stuff. So I give him a lot of props on that. He really did help a lot in my mental part and to get my mental part straight and just to be me, man, be free. I feel like sometimes I hold on to too much stuff and my fighting like changes, and I'm like, I don't need to do that. I'm like, I know I'm one of the best in the world, and I know I will be a world champion, and it means a lot to me coming from a person like that.
And Yusuf, you're only 27 years old. You technically haven't even hit like your prime years when
I
you
know
talk,
they said like
right?
that's the 30. Yeah, they said like 30s in early 30s, mid 30s. So I was like, yeah, man, I got a lot of time coming my way.
Yeah, you're coming, and you clearly gave the now champion Ilya Taporia the toughest fight of his career. When you see what he's doing now that he has the belt, and you've been in there with him, and you gave him a tough fight, like what is that like? What does that do for your mental to know? Okay, I just got to keep my head down. I got to keep grinding. I need to get together these wins, and ultimately, maybe down the road, I'm going to get this rematch.
I mean, I know I will get the rematch either with him or get a title shot. I know that. I know I will get to that point, obviously, in my career. Not now, obviously, because I got a lot of work to do. But it gives, like you said, it's a lot of more confidence and belief. I feel like sometimes we forget about the belief. We'll be delusional. Fighting is like you got to be delusional sometimes, but you got to be real as well. It's like I feel like sometimes you're like, oh man, I did okay in this fight. No, no, I know I did good on that fight on a short notice as well. A lot of people forget I fought him on 8 days' notice as well. I was training to grapple somebody and full on to change my whole situation and fighting Ilya Taporia that was like 11-0 and is fighting in 8 days' notice, But like I said, it just gives me confidence and belief in myself to go showcase my skills that I know I belong in the top 10 and to be a world champion and all that stuff. So it really just opens up clears your mind. Like I
Hmm.
said, like it back to the where I started. Is this clear your mind and just be you,
Did you pick him to beat Volkanovski? Honestly.
bro? So I love Volk. He's one of my favorite guys. I want to meet that guy. He's a great guy. But man, I was like, I knew it was gonna be a fight. But man, I did not know it was gonna end like that. So I give props to Ilya. He's involved his game a lot.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I was at a sports book up here in New England with a couple of my buddies, and I had a 7 fight parlay. I hit the first 6 legs, and the seventh leg was Volk just winning. And I would have won. I would have cashed out big time. And I was like, oh my God. I, you know,
That
I,
was yeah, that was crazy, man.
yeah, that was but you know what? He's the future, and you guys with your ages, it really could line up. I would love to see that rematch. Realistically speaking, Yusuf, how many fights away do you think you'd be? Does it more about the opponents? Like you gotta get maybe like another short notice opponent where you're fighting a ranked guy and you get a definitive win that kind of bumps you right up there in the rankings. Is it more about the opponents versus the wins?
It's more about the opponents, to be honest. I feel like in this sport, it's so much politics. It's like you can fight guys that nobody heard of, and then you can fight for the belt, or you can do it the hard way, like Dustin Poirier, fight 10 times before you even get to a title shot, or the other ways. It all depends. Like or Ilya fought top guys, ranked guys, and beat them, and then obviously got him the title shot. I think he got the title shot after Josh Emmett, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you beat the number 7 and then you go straight to a title shot. So I think it all depends on how you do it as well. I feel like some guys forget about that. I feel like the UFC looks for obviously exciting fights, knockouts, submissions, or just dominant performance. They don't want to be boring. Oh, you just took him down, hold him down, or you were just running, or whatever the scenario might be. So I feel like that has to do a big impact on your road to the title shot.
Can't wait to see what's next for you, my man. Last thing from me before we get out of here. Give me a perfect time frame of when you'd like to be back in action. Would you like to get a full camp in this time? And is there an opponent maybe that you'd like to call out?
Oh, I would love to fight in like July, August, or that spear in September. I want to get some Mexican fans on my side. But yeah, I would love to fight around that area. And I would definitely love a full camp for sure. Feel like I deserve a full camp, and if I can perform like that, not on a full camp, imagine what I will do on a full camp. So that just like it just excites me to even get an idea of a full camp. So I'm happy about that. And the opponent, I really don't know, man. I was like top 15, top 10. I really don't care, man. Unranked, doesn't matter to me, man. I was like, I'm ready to have some fun, but who knows? Maybe we'll fight top 10. Who knows? There's some names out there for sure. Like we were just talking about. Josh Emmett and all those guys are still ranked. So, and I don't know if they have an opponent, but I would love to throw down with those guys.
Yeah, and I mean, like you look at someone like Steve Ursig, who he was ranked, I think, like 10th or 11th. He gets a win recently, and now he's fighting for the title. Obviously, it's a different weight class. It's not as deep as the one that you're in, but like,
Yeah, as I'd say, that flyweight division, you might be 2-0 fighting for the belt.
yeah, okay, yeah, no, fair enough. But like your win over Billy Q, that gets you right there in the mix. I mean, you realistically could be fighting a guy on the back end of the top 15.
I think so, man. I feel like especially after what he fought, he fought Barbosa number 14. Barbosa's fighting number 15 now, and stuff like that. So I know there's definitely a potential there, So I don't know who they be able to give me, but like I said, man, I'm just excited to be in that position. I feel like I was always behind, like, oh, 3 winning streak, but the guys are not this, the guys are not that. Even Billy was like, oh, he didn't fight this, he didn't fight that. I was like, well, I just beat Billy. So, and I submitted him too. So it's like now I get to let my work do the talking, and I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to do none about it, but they know when they look at it, they're like, well, he did dominate this fight and he did this. So let's see what he can do at the top 15 or like you said, the top 20.
You're definitely a problem for these guys at 145, my man. Congrats on the win. Always good talking to you. Can't wait to chat with you, hopefully again before your next fight. Before we do sign off here today, Youssef, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, my man. I appreciate you for having me again, my man. Like, man, I'd like to thank my team and all my people, man. They stuck with me even with the hard times and really got me back on my feet and all that stuff. So I give them all the props and all that stuff. And I want to thank my family, obviously, and Ramadan Mubarak to all the brothers and sisters out there. That's what we doing right now, and I hope it brings them joy and brings the families together and everybody together.